The very objective of any broiler farmer is to receive the highest quality chicks possible. Healthy chicks can become infected and diseased soon after arrival from the hatchery to a contaminated, poorly sanitized farm like yours. For successfully brooding, everyone at the farm must adhere strictly to a comprehensive biosecurity practices in your farm. If care is not taken and this is not followed, the quality chicks will be diseased after reaching your farm. The first 24 hours of chick life are the most important. This video will teach you some of the basic parameters that must be taken into consideration before and during the first hours of the chick's life to facilitate good start to finish. Welcome to Brooder Farm. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, use this opportunity to subscribe, like this video and share. The first thing you have to do after booking for a good chicks is to have a brooder. A brooder is a place that you are going to warm your birds for the first 1 to 2 weeks. Now, you have to clean and disinfect your brooder very well. Most farmers don't disinfect their brooder. Please disinfect your brooder to avoid cross-contamination. If not, no matter the quality of the old chicks you buy, when your brooder is not well disinfected and clean, there will be cross-contamination or transfer of sickness from the brooding house to the new chicks, which will affect your chicks' life. So you have to clean and disinfect your brooder, then place on the ground a covering paper, which you call newspaper or you call it brooding paper. This is a brooding paper made for chicks brooding. It's very cheap. You can get it across you can get it from your vet shop. It's cheaper than newspaper. Newspaper is not too encouraged for brooding because it contains inks and the ink can affect your birds. So you cover it. If you are using wood shaving, do it lightly, not too deep like deep litter system. So when you are using wood shaving, but I prefer you use a paper for the first 4 or 5 days. This will help a lot so that you can feed them on the paper. This also helps to absorb water either from the pool or water spillage, thereby making the brooder to be very dry. So this is what you do before your birds arrive. At least disinfect that place 3 days before your birds arrive, depending on the chemical you are using in disinfecting the poultry house. After you are done with that, the next thing you have to do when your birds arrive and you've placed your brooder well is to arrange for their medication. At Brooder Farm, the medication we use in brooding at arrival is called Brooder, which we formulate ourselves. The Brooder helps your birds to have a good start, and it contains a probiotic, multivitamin, electrolyte, and antibiotic. It's very, very good for brooding. We don't need to add any other medication. With Brooder, we are good to go for the brooding period. So what you do is to every 1 liter of water, we add 2 grams of Brooder, and inside each of these drinker is 1 liter of water. So we'll be adding all together 8 grams of Brooder for brooding. This is the only medication you use in brooding. You don't need to add your glucose or whatever again. So if you don't have access to this Brooder, you can get from any of the number displayed down on the screen. Or if you are in an area that you cannot have access to this, you are out of Nigeria, you can consult your vet doctor for a recommendation on the best medication to use in brooding your birds to have a good result. What you give them at start really matters, and it will help to curb mortality, to build the immune system, and to enhance their growth rate. So I'm going to measure 8 grams of Brooder to these 4 liters of water. As I said, 2 grams of Brooder to 1 liters of water. That is the dosage. So while doing this, make sure that your lighting is ready. You know, broilers don't feed and drink in the darkness. So you have to provide a lighting and a warmth for them, for their temperature to be okay, and they can have light to see and drink and eat. This is very, very important. And don't deprive them of good ventilation. Most poultry farmers, because you tell them to provide warmth, they will lock up everywhere and prevent oxygen from coming in, thereby turning the brooding house to a bakery. Provide a good ventilation for your birds to be able to do well. No matter what you give them to eat or drink, without good ventilation, your birds will not do well. So now you have to place the drinker at a strategic point so that anywhere the birds are, they can have access to good water to drink at all time. So after doing this, you are going to sprinkle your feed on the brooding paper. This is why I don't use wood shaving, because you can't sprinkle feed on your wood shaving, so you can sprinkle feed on your newspaper. This is to encourage uniform growth among the birds, because they will have access to feed at the same time anywhere they are in the brooder. So we do this for the first 24 hours of birds arrival before introducing them to feeder. So if this method doesn't work for you, you don't need to follow this method. This is what works for me. Now after doing that, you have to bring in your birds, your day old chicks, and you introduce them to the brooder. Before doing so, what I normally do is I will check the arrival weight just to have a clue on what the bird was weighing before brooding. So I won't be doing it for everything. I will just be picking one or two to just have an idea on what they come with, so that I can be having reference. So I'll be picking like 5 or 6, but the ideal thing is for you to weigh everything to know what they comes with. So this will give you the arrival weight of your birds. So these are Ross 308 broilers chicks, and we'll be brooding them. So they just arrived after a long distance of journey. So try to check their arrival weight to know what they comes with. Then you introduce them to the house to have access to feed and water. As you can see them now, they are all locating feed on the paper and they are eating at any point. They don't need to struggle to look for where the feeder is. So what you have to do after introducing them is to observe them and look around for anyone that is weak, so that you can help them to have access to water. So you look around the brooder and observe anyone that is not active or weak, then you help them out to have access to water to drink. So this is what you have to do, and you have to be around the brooding area. You have to be close to them at all time and monitor for any unusual behavior for immediate attention. This will really help them, and it will help their upbringing. Remember, the result you are going to have at the end of 5 or 6 weeks will determine the kind of treat you give at this first hour. So that's why I'm taking my time to tell you all these things. You see, this one is weak, so we are going to assist by dipping his beak on the water so that it can energize and back to life. So do this, monitor them, get close to them, keep feeding them the right feed and medication for the brooding period. You use super starter feed to feed. Don't feed your birds, don't start feeding your chicks, your broiler chicks, with a feed lesser than 20% crude protein, because feed broiler starter feed with 20% crude protein and above supports the extra energy needed for the early growth. So please, you have to provide a good feed for them at all time at this age. If your feed is not too standard, it is very important that you fortify your feed. I've thought about feed fortification. You can watch my previous video on feed fortification, and you will learn how you fortify your feed for the first start and make your birds to look very good and have a good start in your farm. So brooding is not just keeping your birds in the brooding house. By providing them basic amenities such as feed and medication, says a lot and goes a long way. Now in the evening of the first evening session, you can see we have on our eating lamp. This is our eating lamp, and it's serving them. You see that they are not calling, they are moving around and they are eating, drinking, enjoying their stay. This is how your birds should look like 247 for at the brooding stage. They shouldn't cuddle together in one position. Let them be freely moving around. Don't allow the temperature to be too hot, because this will damage them and it will lead to dehydration, which your birds will not add weight. If they did not die, they will look very slim because they will be struggling to survive in a suffocated environment. You make sure if the temperature is down that you warm them up and provide source of lighting for them to see and eat. If your broilers are looking like this, then they will not eat and they will not drink, and that will lead to retarded growth and mortality. So when your birds are cuddling together like this, you can see that they're not eating and they're not drinking, and you don't expect any miracle for them to grow. So you have to put on the lighting for them, let them move around, eat, drink, and exercise themselves. This is the best way to brood your broiler at early stage, especially day one. Any mistake at this day one will lead to retarded growth, and you will not have any good results at the end of the 6 weeks. So take note, and I will update you on the day two method of brooding. Subscribe if you are yet to subscribe, like this video and share with other farmers.